How's it going, everyone? I put up a poll yesterday about people in our family. Have they suffered with, is there anyone in your family who has suffered with history of anxiety disorders or panic attacks for a long period of time, agoraphobia and stuff? Because I wanted to tell you a story today about my family. There's been 3 people in my family that have had anxiety disorders. The first person was my nanny, my Nana Mary. She sadly passed away in 1999. Obviously, being a kid, I never knew that my nanny suffered from this. It was only in time that when I started to suffer, my mum then told me about my nanny's history with it. So we get going into the story anyway. So my nanny passed away in 1999. She lost a kid, Darren. At age 6, he was 16. He passed away in a tragic accident, and that traumatic event, as it would do to most people, brought on so much stress and I assume depression, and to my poor nan, and eventually then led her to an anxiety disorder, agoraphobia, and being afraid to go places, stuff like that. You know how the cycle goes. So my nanny was the first person to have it, and then my mum had it for many years. Afraid to go places, stuff like that. To basically what I had. So I was the third person to suffer from the anxiety disorder, panic attacks, agoraphobia. So yeah, I have a bit of a motivational story to go with this. So we'll just start off. I'll just waffle on as I usually do. So my nanny was the first person, then my mum, and then me. I remember one day when, if I have a lot of people on this, mothers as well, who have kids, and I'm sure you have done what my mother done, which is hide it from their kids, for doing it in such a good way that we just don't know. You protect your kids from a lot. You don't want them to know that you're suffering or going through certain things in life, so you protect them from it, which my mum did from her kids. I never knew my mum suffered with this, but I do have memories now, like looking back now when I was like 11 or something. I remember being in the car and then we stopped at a traffic light, and I just remember my mum getting out of the car, like I didn't know what was going on. I thought there was something wrong with her, but really she just had a panic attack. She jumped out, and then within 5 minutes we turned around, picked her up, and she was okay. But things like that. Anyway, where am I going with this? So yeah, as I was struggling with this into this, like a lot of years, I was in, like, I don't know, I'm just going to put a number on it, my 5th year suffering with this, or my 6th year. My mum would tell me stories, and my nanny passed away to cancer, unfortunately in 1999. We lost my grandmother to cancer. But I remember my mum telling me a very motivational story, because when I was at my worst with this, like, my mum would always tell me, you have to push yourself, you have to do these challenging things, you have to push yourself, and sitting in the house and you're doing it all the wrong way. And my mum wasn't educated on it. My mum just knew, like, my mum didn't know about clear weeks or anything like this. My mum maybe went to therapy for it, she didn't. But my mum knew what it was like to live with it, and my mum knew the basics of it. You got to face this. That was my mum's method. But again, with all that pushing, you're still so resistant to it because it's so scary. But anyway, yeah, my mum would tell me these motivational stories. I remember one specific time she told me that my nanny had this for many years, and again with the diagnosis of cancer, she basically accepted then that she was going to die, she was going to pass away. And with that acceptance, then my mum told me a story that, like, there's a place called Knock. It's in Ireland. I forget which even county it's in. I'm not a religious person, so I don't even know which county this is in Ireland, but it's a religious place. And my nanny hadn't been, out of Ireland before, out of Dublin before. But with this acceptance that, like, I'm gonna die of cancer, she then accepted, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get the bus to Knock, something that I haven't done in many years. I've never You know, I've never been away from Dublin, but my mum just told me that obviously my nan's mentality was, well, I'm going to die anyway, so whether I die in this bus journey down or ever, I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, and I'm going to get on this bus and basically live my life before it gets taken away from me. And my nan went down on the bus with her friends. She had an amazing time, and it's nice to know that my nan's last moments in life were she was a warrior. And I think in my family we do have that warrior mentality. Every one of us in my family have that warrior mentality because we've been through so much. We've lost so many people at such a young age. You know, my auntie, my uncle, stepfather, nanny, grand. We're such a young family. We've lost so many people at such a young age, and we have that warrior mentality. We've been through so much. We've seen things that people shouldn't see, you know, and we have that warrior mentality, and I'm so happy that that's what my nanny, when her final days or months, makes me happy to know that she died as a warrior. So where I'm going with this is, look at the mentality there. Like, my nanny accepted that she's gonna go on that bus now because she's gonna die. So the mentality there is like, she done it, nothing happened to her, she went on that bus, she made it, she had a great time. And then it makes you wonder, with that mentality in life, that was the mentality I went with to help me recover. My mentality was, okay, if this is gonna kill me, this anxiety, this panic that I've been fearing for so many years that stopped me from living, if this is gonna kill me, well then fucking kill me then, come on. But I'm going out, I'm gonna run today, I'm gonna jog into places that I've been avoiding for many, many years. And if anything happens, well then so be it. But I'm going out as a warrior. Not a warrior, a warrior. I was willing to just, logically I know, listen, anxiety's never gonna kill me, but it was such an ingrained fear at that time that it stopped me. It was so powerful, it stopped me from living for many years. So it was obviously a big problem there for me. So it was the giving up. I don't care anymore. Fuck this shit. I'm going into it. Another story is my mum. I remember one day I was 18 years of age, and my mum came into me one day and says, Glenn, listen, I'm going to be gone for the whole day. I'm going into town, I'll be back, whatever. No problem. With that day and that night came, and she still wasn't home. She arrived home at around there. And this is my mum who was going through what I was going through. Never left Dublin, never got on a plane, never did anything like that. And she got home that night then around 12, and I remember looking through, you know, she had this big smile on her face and she was just glowing. Like, I was like, you know, where were you? She says, I actually went on a plane to Liverpool. And I was like, what? Like, what? Like, you thought you... She says, yeah, I just didn't want this to know where I was going. But she got on a plane to Liverpool. First time she ever travelled after living so much of this. And it didn't make sense to me back then because I wasn't struggling with any of that. But as I went on with my disorder and I was speaking to my mum about these moments, she's like, they're the big moments you need. It's those moments where you're just so sick of not living and you make those big decisions. And my mum got on a plane to Liverpool the first time, and it was only a day trip. She went over really early, like 10 a.m. when she was home at 12 o'clock that night. She went with her best friend at the time. And it's those moments, you know, and there's 3 big moments with the people in my family. My nanny accepted her death of cancer and decided, I'm going to go to knock on this bus. I'm going to live. And then my mom's moment of, I'm sick of living like this. I want to travel. And with that moment, she just said, fuck it, I'm getting on a plane to go to Liverpool, you know. And then me, it was like, it wasn't that one moment of getting on that bus or getting on that train. A plane for me, it was an accumulation of going on them jogs. I don't care because I know one day I have to go over to Paris. And it was just that letting go of, it's a mentality shift, guys. It's a mentality shift that a very deep, it's like an enlightenment or something. I don't know what it is, but those 3 stories of empowerment of my nanny, letting go and just getting on that bus, my mum with going to Liverpool, just that was it, I'm getting on the plane. And then with me, it was like, I didn't care what happened to me on that plane. I was going to Paris. I didn't travel for 10 years. I didn't go further than 3